In the vast expanse of the cosmos, far beyond the reaches of known space, lies a cluster of uncharted systems, a mysterious realm where stars blaze like celestial beacons, guiding or luring wayward souls. As the starship's engines hum with the energy of 1,000 suns, your crew stands at the threshold of the unknown. The ship, a marvel of interstellar engineering, is your sanctuary and your vessel to points unknown. Your mission? Explore these uncharted systems to uncover that which is ancient and buried on many a forgotten world, to negotiate with peoples long cut off from the light of the sun, and unravel the mysteries that lie hidden in the depths of space. But beware, for not all secrets are meant to be unearthed, and the darkness between the stars holds perils beyond imagination and worlds without number.
It's time for the Jaunty Mantis. It's another episode. Can you believe it? Season 2. Something without numbers. Jesse is my co-host. I'm Matty. We are two nerds with creative questions. We are curious gamers, and that's what the Jaunty Mantis is all about. And in Season 2, Jesse, what are we doing? What is the theme?
We are talking about genre and creation, the creative process. In a sense, creations without number.
Yes, that's what it is. We've devoted Season 2 to creating settings, and we are using the tools of one Kevin Crawford, Sine Nomine Publishing, with a full disclosure that we have no support, payment, or contact with Mr. Crawford or that company. We've paid our own money for these books. We love these tools, and we love creating these worlds and universes together. Our first set was cyberpunk. Our second set was fantasy. And our third set is science fiction. The book we are using is called Stars Without Number. Correct?
Yeah.
Do we have a quick recap for what we created? We created some stars, we created some worlds, we created some themes around those worlds, on those stars, and those little pockets of our science fiction universe. It got kind of bleak. We created a zombie planet.
I love the zombie planet.
And if this is your first episode of the Jaunty Mantis, maybe start at episode 1, or at least backtrack to one episode before this one where we started our cyberpunk creative process. I'm sorry,
Sci-fi.
Our science fiction one.
So that was episode 7.
Probably.
Yeah.
What we've been doing is we've been utilizing the tables and systems in Kevin Crawford's books in order to come up with our setting. Jesse, what are we working on today?
I think we're going to flesh out some of the other planets that we have created for our sector. I think we still could populate like 23 more stars than what we have. But we have 4 stars that just kind of have a 2-world tag. The only one we've really fleshed out is Tehu, which is the zombie world.
Mm-hmm. I love the zombie world.
Zombie world is best world.
Mm-hmm.
We basically rolling on the tables in the last episode that hopefully you're not binging, because otherwise
we keep re-explaining it over and over again.
Yeah, basically we have a world that had a city planet like Coruscant in Star Wars, We rolled urbanized surface and zombies, which I thought just was delightful.
Hmm.
It has a corrosive atmosphere. The biosphere is a hybrid of Earth life and whatever native alien life there was, and it has several million inhabitants despite the zombie plague.
Hmm.
So, there's some interesting people there, like the insane AI, and you know.
Hmm. Beautiful. Yep.
But yeah, I think we're gonna jump in today with what was it, 1.5.
What page are we starting on for those listening at home?
We got to flesh out our tags. So this star system, its keywords are sealed menace and Cold War.
That's right. So we rolled for our tags for each one of our sectors. And is this is no longer the zombie planet. We're on a different planet now?
Yeah, we are moving to a different planet. This one is actually unreachable from the zombie planet until we fill in some more stars.
Okay.
So what we know about the sealed menace Cold War planet, it has a breathable atmosphere. The native life is actually can interact with Terran biology. If you kill an animal on this planet, you can eat it. And it has hundreds of millions of inhabitants. And the tech level is tech level 4, which is basically in Stars Without Number, means it's post tech. So they have started to emerge from the dark age of whatever great cataclysm fucked up faster than light travel.
All right.
Um, so not where it was before, but they're more advanced technologically than we are now.
Mm-hmm. And each one of these tags comes with an EFCTP. Jesse, what do these stand for?
They stand for enemy, friend, complication, thing, and place.
And that's the beauty of Kevin Crawford's method is he has figured out what what you need to develop in order to establish a setting or an adventure or whatever, and he has focused these resources on that. So coming up with each one of these things is key in order to work smarter, not harder, which is what we're all about here at the John D. Bantis.
Yeah, I am for the Rifts campaign, just using these tables so much when I think about planning like a next session. Like, hey, what's the weird tag? What's the okay, cool, got it. Go.
So in every episode, our due diligence is to not only disclose that we have no support from Sine Nomine or Kevin Crawford, but also that we super believe in these products. We love these products. These products are available for free, and you should definitely go check them out, read them, see how awesome they are, and then go purchase the full versions of them because Kevin Crawford is a genius.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
And I think if you ever want to talk to him, the only way is through Reddit because his stance on social media makes Matty look calm and sedate.
Oh, perfect. I think he and I would get along at least reasonably well in that regard.
We'll never know because he is a cipher, unknowable.
Perfect. Perfect.
Um, what we were doing for this is because we had rolled two tags, we were each going to pick up one tag, read the description, and then kind of hash it out.
Right.
Do you want to? Can I do Sealed Menace and you get Cold War?
Yeah. Yeah. Let me get to Cold War. So read the description, the opening description for Sealed Menace.
Something on this planet has the potential to create enormous havoc for the inhabitants if it is not kept safely contained by its keepers. Whether a massive seismic fault line suppressed by pre-tech terraforming technology, a disease that has to be quarantined within hours of discovery, or an ancient alien relic that requires regular upkeep in order to prevent planetary catastrophe, the menace is a constant shadow on the fearful populace.
And I have Cold War. Two or more great powers control the planet, and they have a hostility to each other that's barely less than open warfare. The hostility might be ideological in nature, or it might revolve around control of some local resource. So we're going to start with the E category, which is enemies. And each of us are going to, how do we do this last time? Each one of us picked one from
Yeah,
the
and
end,
to
each tag.
mash them together.
Mm-hmm. So I have a suspicious chief of intelligence, native who thinks the outworlders are with the other side, and a femme fatale,
Ah,
which I absolutely love that is an inclusion in this selection.
classic honeypot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Very Cold War-esque. Go for it.
I have a hostile outsider bent on freeing the menace, a misguided fool who thinks they can use it, a reckless researcher who thinks they can fix it.
Ooh, I like the sound of that. A reckless researcher femme fatale. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we're there.
Awesome. Okay. Next is our F.
I just, I just, that just for some reason, it just took me to the Purge Planet Rick and Morty episode.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Hey, Jesse, 24, hot, but she doesn't know it.
All right.
Knows
Yeah,
it.
I love it. I love it. A reckless researcher femme fatale. This is gonna go places, people.
Hmm. Yeah, she can fix it. She
Mm-hmm.
just needs information from the other side.
Yeah. All right. So for the F category, the friends, I'll start. I have an apolitical information broker, a spy for the other side, unjustly accused innocent, and in quotes, he's a bastard, but he's our bastard official.
I have Keeper of the Menace, Student of its Nature, or Victim of the Menace.
I like Keeper of the Menace. That has like a kind of a Wizard of Oz kind of feel to it, and for some reason.
What's the menace?
What is the menace? Is it an alien intelligence at the center of the world? Um, is it like a spirit? Is it like a Cthulhu like otherworldly intelligence that is leaking into our reality?
I think you just said the same thing 3 times.
I think I just did, yeah. Yeah. It's like that Simpsons joke where they're like a mathematician, a different kind of mathematician, and a statistician.
um, have you watched Invasion?
No, what is that?
It's a show on Apple Plus about an alien invasion of Earth, and it's very odd. Um, Good horror movie vibes. I don't know. I'm kind of digging it, but the aliens are really, really alien. Like
Oh, okay. I dig that.
not like what like you've seen like the things they use as troops, but they're
Hmm.
fractal lamprey spider node thing. I don't know. It's weird. Um, Very non-Euclidean, like not really sure if they're even from this plane of existence. It's cool. It's a bizarre. I like
That
it.
appeals. That appeals to me. I once wanted to create a science fiction setting for a science fiction role-playing game, I should say, where human was the only playable option. And then if anybody was like, "Well, is there are there any other aliens?" I'm like, "Well, there are these other aliens. They're super isolationist, super intelligent, but they're the only other intelligent life that you've encountered in the universe. And humans just leave them alone. They're basically like, what are those things that we have on our I'm like blanking on the name. Those like really old mollusk-like creatures that just kind of hang out near the water occasionally. What are they called?
Barnacles?
No, oh God, I had it on the tip of my tongue, but they're basically like the trilobites. Is that God? I'm fucking stupid.
Those
What are
are
these?
extinct.
Okay, so they're basically like that, I guess. They're just these creatures that are just hanging out on planets, not doing anything. And like humans have encountered them and they're super intelligent, but they're not a threat. And they're on planets that humans don't want to be on. So like they've taken them home, they've studied them, they've cut them up, and there's no consequences for it. They're just boring. And so I kind of want to lean into that idea in a sense that like um the menace are these aliens that they brought to the planet or that they discovered in the planet and were perceived not to be a threat, and then they all like turned on one day. You know what I mean? What do you think about that?
Yes. Or they're they started to turn on and they figured out how to hold the process but not shut it down.
Okay. Yeah. So then what is the Cold War aspect of this relationship? Is it different nation states? One of them like are keeping and controlling these creatures, or there are both nation states trying to weaponize the creatures against each other? Was this something that was already existent on the planet?
I mean, I figure it's scarier if it was there before humans colonized the planet. If it's
Okay.
like improbably ancient,
Mm-hmm. I
maybe
like it.
even the reason that they colonized the world, but then it turned out, hey, they're actually just boring. Um,
Yeah.
and, yeah, until something happened.
What
We
was
got two
that thing?
nation states, so I don't know, like given their level of technology, I'm thinking maybe two pretty different geographic regions,
Mm-hmm.
like two continental bodies.
Okay. And has this been a hot war in the past? Has it always been a Cold War? Has that just been the history of this planet? Is they've just been enwrapped in a uh, Cold War since that's just what everybody's used to? Because like if it's a like if like some of us did live during the time of the Cold War in the United States, and there was a part of it that like I mean, I was a child at the time, so keep that for what it is. But there was this aspect of impending doom that people just kind of got used to in a weird sort of way. Like life still had to go on. Like both sides probably and maybe I'm looking at this with rose tinted glasses or something, but it's like when you read about the Cold War and you're like, God, that was really happening. Like people really thought like nuclear destruction could happen at any moment, like the Watchmen with the ticking clock to destruction, the moment of destruction, right? And yeah, shit's fucked up right now for sure. But when you're locked in a struggle where anything could happen, but nothing is really happening, is it
I
possible for
mean,
people to get used to that?
like for our younger listeners who are politically astute, before you get angry letters, nothing was happening to us in America or to Russians in Russia. If you lived in a number of different places around the world, terrible things were in fact happening to you, but not to the superpowers involved in stoking that conflict.
I'm just talking about it from the American perspective. I can't begin to speak for other people in other places from different experiences, but as a child living in the 80s, that is my perception of it. Take it for what it is.
I mean, I
I
think to me, I mean, what jumps out as an idea is that there was a hot war, and that's what started the wake up process.
mm-hmm. Okay.
And then there was a peace
Okay.
because they had to cooperate. Like, say it just like it started to wake up, and the first step was terraforming a quarter of the world with some really alien shit.
Okay.
Like, and then they figured out how to stop it or slow it down. And like I almost imagine like like that. Have you ever seen the like DMZ between Korea?
No, I haven't.
Oh, like it's like I imagine the controls or the workstations that keeps this thing, whatever tech they came up with that keeps it clamped down, it's like the border between North and South Korea, where there's like the scientists on each side, they change the guard visibly in front of each other, staring each other down. Like,
Gotcha. So our Cold War was a hot war that the aliens kind of came into their own, and something terrible happened as a result of it, and they were able to kind of put it on lockdown. And now they're just kind of staring at each other like, you know, mutually assured destruction because nobody knows exactly what activated it. Is it kind of like a day of mourning kind of situation from Eberron?
yeah, yeah, they figured out how to stop or pause the process, not reverse
Hmm.
it.
Like I'm picturing a planet that had these creatures, these like docile, boring alien creatures on them that didn't bother anyone. They were just sitting there, and humans would just come along and basically kick them, and then nothing would happen, and then they would lose interest in them. And
Oh, and
then
they were
one,
delicious.
and then and then some. So what happens? Like something like an ecological planetary event of some sort.
I don't know, maybe somebody used seismic weapons.
Okay. And then they were what? They were buried underground and they came up to the surface. And then
Yeah, and
what
it woke
happened?
up the control node that reprogrammed the docile things to be incredibly fast and deadly predators. Like, I don't know.
Oh, okay. So we're going Jurassic Park then, right?
Yes, fucking dinosaurs. Like half dinosaur, half spider. Really looking a lot more like a spider, but hunting like a dinosaur in Jurassic Park.
So this is the part where I think you and I are diverging, which is totally fine. We've agreed and gotten in sync with each other on so many different things. But I'm just started to realize that you and I are looking at this in two totally different ways. So we need to make a decision. Because I was thinking that this was these um creatures that like are not aggressively killing people, but have all come to the surface and changed things in a way that has caused a disaster. And so that kind of like supports the Cold War idea of it. It's different when you have creatures that are like actively dinosaur style running around the planet, like preying on people.
But they're not. There's like an exclusion zone.
Okay, sell me on it.
Like on the land bridge between the two continents that people always thought from satellite, that looks a little too uniform for like geological forces. That's kind of weird. That's why there was a research station there.
Mm,
Um, when the thing went off, but like that's where it started, and they were able to shut it down before it sent that up. So they've walled it off. There's like an exclusion zone. You can still get air transport to the now heavily armored, fortified dual nation research station where they keep an eye on each other through armored lab windows, where they watch the like whatever the glowing crystals that are very obviously powering like some sort of visual display that this thing is in the middle of a process.
okay, I got it.
But they paused it somehow.
Okay, so some of these things got active and they were able to deal with it. Now the rest of the process is paused.
They're now pretty sure that those docile ones outside this exclusion zone that maybe like, I don't know, maybe be only like 100 miles
Hmm.
square on this land bridge. They're pretty sure that it was ring shaped and it was going to just expand over the whole world and do it all of them. And then everybody's fucked.
Hmm. Gotcha. So they paused the activating protocol that turns these things
Yes.
into monsters. Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that is a happy marriage between both ideas. I think that's an excellent compromise.
Cool.
Okay, so what does the C stand for again? Remind me.
C is the complication.
Okay. For Cold War, we have police sweep, low level skirmishing, Red Scare.
Ooh. What do you like about those?
I like low level skirmishing. I think that, with both sides pausing this effect, whatever is keeping that balance in check is it could be thrown out of whack very easily by like these desperate little groups that are trying to continue the fight who don't agree with, the ceasefire aspect of it. And because they're involved, they have the potential to screw everything up without even realizing it. I think
Okay.
police sweep is too local and red scare, yeah,
Yeah,
red
but if
scare's not really doing
the
much for me.
police if the police sweep happens when the players have just landed on the planet, then it's not too local. Then it's
Hmm. That's true. I think low
um
level skirmishing is a much more entry level complication.
okay.
What about
I've
you?
got the menace would bring great wealth along with destruction. The menace is intelligent, and the natives don't all believe in the menace, which I don't know, living through the last 3 years, that doesn't seem plausible.
Sure. Which one of those do you like?
The natives don't all believe in the menace.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that's very easy, right? If you have an isolated event that was contained before it could spread, then the only way to really prove that this is a problem is to let it happen.
Yeah. So if you get some of those idiots in the government, who are just like, no, we can take them. Like, let's use our seismic weapons.
But if you look on the big board, sir, we have them flanked.
The big board.
All right. I like it. I like it. Do we want to delve a little deeper into what the low level skirmishing is, or do we want to let that play out with the next two?
I think that can play out with the next two. I mean, it's probably just like commandos
Mm-hmm. Well, the T, which stands for what again?
thing.
Thing. I have list of traitors in the government, secret military plans, huge cache of weapons built up in preparation for war.
A key to unlock the menace, a precious byproduct of the menace, and the secret of the menace's true nature.
Those are all good. I think for mine, I'm going to choose huge cache of weapons built up in preparation for war because I think that feeds very easily into the low level skirmishing and has the biggest and best chances of conveying the severity of low level skirmishes affecting everything.
Okay. I think it's the secret of the menace's true nature.
Oh, okay. What is the true nature?
I don't know yet.
I have questions. All right. And the next part, the P, what does the P stand for?
He is place.
Place. I have a seedy bar in a neutral area, political rally, isolated area where fighting is underway. If we want to get the player characters right into the action, isolated area where fighting is underway is a great way to do it.
Crossed with a scene of the prior outbreak of the menace.
Oh, okay. So there's something. Okay. Yeah. So, all right. So then we need to figure out like what is it that's causing this effect and under what circumstances does the process start activating again? Because what you're suggesting is that in isolated pockets, it could, which is very Jurassic Park, right? It's also very Aliens too, right? Like the corp trying to manipulate the xenomorph for its own uses and it never goes right.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like I'm just really inspired by Invasion. Like the thing is magnetic, whatever it is, and it may be a hive consciousness, not entirely in our reality.
Mm-hmm.
And so like when it does stuff, like geometric patterns appear in the shaking ground and like birds spin in figure eight spirals above it because it's electromagnetic. It's
Hmm. Yeah. When you throw the birds off, that's never good.
yep. So I don't know.
Hmm. I think, um,
If it was just on this one area, there's no reason to skirmish there. It's too close to the lab. It's too obvious.
mhm.
Maybe they keep most of their secret shit in the zones. There's multiple zones, and the governments keep their secret shit or their defense stations. There's some on the border in there
Mhm.
because the horrible dinosaur things don't fly.
Mhm. Do the horrible dinosaur things like emit something that disrupts like sensors or communication, which makes it like the ideal place to hide shit and fight? You know, like it adds a danger fog of war aspect
Yes.
separating both of these nation states, and that's one of the byproducts of like what one of your options was like an intelligent remind me, it was like an intelligent something intelligent that hasn't been resolved yet. No, I'm fucking stupid tonight. I apologize, but
The menace is intelligent.
there's an intelligence aspect to the menace. Like maybe this is a byproduct of their collective intelligence.
Well, one of them was the menace would bring great wealth along with destruction. The menace is intelligent. These are my complications.
Mm-hmm. It was one of those.
A thing was a precious byproduct of the menace.
Well, that could be our precious byproduct.
Okay.
Is that it's the precious we got to get a little bit more conceptual about what is precious, because the first thing that comes to mind is like riches or resources, right? Some sort of substance. But maybe the precious aspect is the byproduct of these creatures is creating this fog of war zone that makes it very easy, or not very easy, but it makes it prone for launching offensives against each other. Is this working? I don't know if this is completely working. I'm not completely sold to this yet.
I mean, maybe they just fight because they hate each other. Like,
I mean that's the you don't need a better reason than that.
I don't know if we're,
Like if the aliens are giving off some sort of like hive mind resonant energy pulse that makes it nearly impossible to scan or strategically map this zone, then there is an incentive to activate the process and activate them so that you can stop this effect. Like the stasis effect is causing this zone to happen, right? And if you want intel, you could activate pockets of it to, but there's a risk involved, right? So if they think there's a base in this zone, they could like do a localized activation, which would suddenly turn all the creatures into like predator mode. Not like Predator the movie, but like I go from docile creature into predator creature, you know? And so there's a risk to them trying to use the activation mechanism in order to gain intel. And that's one of the aspects of the Cold War.
you get total secrecy, but
I mean, that is kind of the theme of a Cold War, right? Like you fight each other through proxy, there's devastating effects to you know, um, to doing things behind the scenes. What do you think? You got that look.
I don't really know how to deal with a Cold War. I mean, we went to superpowers and then we forgot all the small states that they fight it out through proxy. So
Hmm.
maybe a number of political polities and the ones that came out on top after this sort of hemispheric content are the ones that didn't have the zones pop up in their domestic lands,
Hmm.
but they hide their shit like in these nodes.
Unless they're activating the creatures to be on their side. and it's not a 100% science. That
Yeah.
could be they could be using the alien menace as the proxy, and that kind of could have been what started the whole thing.
Yeah, no, that's actually that solves it. Like,
Like that's how this whole thing got kicked off is both of these sides were using these creatures. They figured out how to activate them into their like Jurassic Park mode to use against each other, to weaponize against each other. And then that caused this great drift to happen where the creatures like start emerging from the ground or whatever and coming up to the surface. And it creates this bigger problem where they're like, well, I guess we have to stop activating these creatures against each other because we are then have a mutually assured destruction on our hands. And they've gotten a glimpse of what that would be like, at this key moment in the Cold War, you know. And so to continue with the theme, instead of a huge cache of weapons built up in preparation for war, you make it that there's like caches of the technology sitting available and these groups that are still these still low level skirmishes are activating the creatures.
okay,
What do you think?
I think it works.
I hope so.
So yeah, I feel like we've kind of circled in on it. Um, we're in a good place. So
Hmm.
what about these horrible dinosaur spider creatures?
Yeah. Let's head in that direction and figure out what they're like. Now, Jesse, is it possible that Stars Without Numbers may have a system to create alien creatures and beasts?
Um, well, that would be really convenient, but I don't. Oh, here on page 200,
Oh,
beasts.
page 200.
So as far as stats go, because of the OSR roots, we don't really need to worry about them if we're staying within stars without number. Like we probably should have done a worlds without number instead of trying to port in a 5e race.
Uh-huh, sure.
But you got basically a hit die, an armor class, an attack bonus and number, the damage they do, movement, morale, skills, and then saving throws. And that's it. It's like all in one line. But we can still talk about the uh the features. So we're gonna need a D10
Okay,
for our horrific beasts.
got a 10.
Roll twice and mix the result.
Got a 4.
Insect,
Got a 2.
bird,
Insect birds.
beetle-like, winged and feathered.
Oh, gross.
They've got like feather-like protrusions made of chitin.
I'm picturing scarabs with feathers. Um, Almost Egyptian mythology themed, but
Ah,
I'm not super sold on it, but that's the first thing that jumped into my head, like a scarab like insect with feathers coming off of the sides of it.
okay.
What do you think?
I went stag beetle that's like bipedal and on bird like clawed bird like legs.
Stag beetle. I Google that. Oh, okay. Yeah. It's very similar to what I was describing. Easily in the same wheelhouse.
Yep.
Okay.
But let's get a body plan.
Okay. How do we do a body plan?
Roll a
What is a body
d6.
plan? Explain what a body plan is.
Like how's it laid out?
Okay. And on the table for body plan, which is on 201, we roll d6. And we got a 5, which means they're amorphous,
Ooh,
correct?
yes.
Okay. And then do we just keep going on the list like limb novelty?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 3, tentacles.
Oh, hooray.
So it's amorphous with tentacles. So it's an amorphous insectile bird with tentacles.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I can make this work. This is going to end up looking like the thing from your Apple TV Plus show.
Yeah.
Skin novelty. I got a 4. Molts
Molts
regularly.
regularly.
Well, hey, it's got feathers. Ready for main weapon? Number 2, claws. Okay.
It is
And
like the thing from Invasion. It's
and the size? 5. Hippo size.
oh
Perfect.
my God.
I kind of wanted them to be cat sized just for the listener's sake. There was the sizes were cat sized, wolf sized, calf sized, bull sized, hippo sized, and elephant sized. And I was secretly hoping for cat sized.
I was kind of hoping for elephant.
Perfect.
Sometimes we disagree. All right, behavioral tactics. I
Okay.
think it's predatory,
Oh yeah.
right?
Unless we're looking for a twist. Well, there are two states of this creature. Could we roll twice, or am I overcomplicating this?
Yeah, roll twice. Why not?
So for predator, so we'll say it's both predator and scavenger,
Yep.
and depending on what state it's in. So in its alpha predator state, we rolled D8, we got a 1.
Hunts in kin group packs.
Okay. And then in its scavenger state, we got a 5. Disguises
There,
itself as prey.
did you roll on predator twice?
Oh, did I? There's 3 categories on the behavioral traits. I see predator, prey, and scavenger.
And for five for prey was
5 for scavenger was disguises itself as prey.
oh, okay. And then attacks what tries to eat it.
Okay.
I looked at prey. They're violent in certain seasons.
Okay, what's next?
um, the thing that just crossed my mind is I remember that on this world that it's a miscible biosphere, so you can eat these things and they can eat you.
That's right.
Like they will devour you.
Okay. So they taste like chicken and we taste like chicken.
Yeah,
Okay.
just a happy chicken party.
That would be a
Harmful discharges.
that would be an interesting kind of reveal to the player characters that like the that humans and these aliens are the two most agreeable consumable things in the universe. It's like they're both, you know what I'm saying? Like there's no indigestion, there's perfect nourishment, it tastes very good, but it's in effect for both of them. They
Yeah,
are
they're
that to
both
each other.
superfoods.
Yes, that's a great way to put it. They're both superfoods to each other.
I don't know. I've also been thinking about this. I just want to mention this. There was a God, what system was it? I'm trying to remember the name of the system. It's the same one that's in Rain.
Hmm.
Um, oh, the one roll engine. There was a one roll engine game. I want to say
Monostat?
Greg Stolze, um, called Out of a Violent Planet. It was a sci-fi game, and the entire premise was that like there is this vast multi-species out in the universe, but they're all psychic. Have
Okay.
you heard me talk about this before?
No, I'm intrigued.
So they're all psychic. So when they go to war or invade one, it's just psychic warfare. They never really bothered to make a whole lot of weapons because they just do everything like with psychic warfare.
Okay.
And then one of them arrives to invade Earth, only to discover that Earth is, as far as they know, the only non-psychic species in the entire galaxy. So the Earthlings, of course, like just walk up and club them and take the ship and reverse engineer it, and I guess jump out into the galaxy
As
where
a
everybody
menace.
out there is prey because
Oh God, that is so human.
I know.
Oh, wow. That's
Okay.
amazing. All right, harmful discharge.
Yes.
And I'll also roll on this table. I'll get a 7. Equipment melting corrosive. Perfect.
Nice.
The tables, the tables are in our favor yet again. All right, then
What
we get
kind of
to
poison is it?
what kind of poison is it? It is a number 5.
Blindness poison.
Mhm.
What's the onset for that poison?
6 minutes,
Okay. And how long does it last?
5
Hmm.
hours.
Okay. So if one of them gets the stuff on you, it melts through your faceplate, and 6 minutes later, you're blind for 5 hours.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I love it.
It'd be great if these things just started rising up out of the ground all over the entire planet. Human civilization would totally survive.
Yeah, especially when these creatures discover that humans are a superfood.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is with humans. I could just eat them all day and I don't gain weight. Look at this.
Yeah. But they taste just like popcorn chicken.
Which you would think you'd get sick of, but for some reason humans have a veritable buffet of flavor.
Boy, this planet seems like it would be a not great place to visit,
Oh, and the zombie planet would be.
but it'd be a great place for adventure. There's all kind of profit to be made.
And thus, listener, that concludes our second episode for our science fiction based series. Jesse, what are we going to do for our third episode?
We're making a ship.
Ooh, we're making a ship. Can I make a request?
Sure.
Can we have something on the ship to be a catalyst for an adventure for one of these planets? Because I love these planets.
Yes.
Could we like put one of our alien creatures in like the lab on the ship and then like just do a little bit of fun nerd imaginary stuff about like doing like an aliens, you know, or an alien, I should say, the first movie.
Okay.
Not
Yeah,
a
you
full
got to do an alien.
adventure. Not a full adventure. We're designing a ship and then we're going to do a section of it. We're going to say, oh, by the way, here's what's in the fucking med bay on this ship. It's from this planet.
Okay, but I have a request too.
Okay, fair.
We can only draw existing fictional influences from the show Lex.
Oh my God. I haven't seen Lex in forever.
I'm kidding
Wait,
about that one. I
you're going to
just
make me
wanted to
watch
mention it.
Lex? I don't agree to this.
I just wanted to mention that as a terrible idea.
Oh, God. Well, we are a podcast full of terrible ideas, listeners, but we hope you had fun along the way. Jesse, if our listeners want to get in touch with us, how would they do so?
You can reach out to us at Gmail at jauntymantis@gmail.com. You can also reach out to us on Twitter at wantymantis.com. We also have a Threads and an Instagram. They are Jaunty Mantis.
They are.
I don't really check them. I'd be really happy if I saw something randomly, so you're free to.
Yeah. We're deep enough into season 2 now, listener, that if you've been enjoying this process so far, or maybe if you haven't been enjoying it, why don't you let us know? We'd love to hear from you. The Jaunty Mantis is a fun hobbyist project between the two of us, but if you could give us any feedback on how things have gone, has this been useful to you? We've really enjoyed doing it. I love having an excuse to talk to my best friend every week, so that's my motivation for doing the podcast. But yeah, how is this? Has any of this been helpful to you? If it has or hasn't, let us know. Please keep it brief.
Yeah, I've been enjoying listening to them, but I think everybody that's been listening this far can tell I really like the sound of my own voice. So I don't think I'm a good judge of whether this is a worthwhile investment of time. But if you think it is, please validate me, dear listener.
I mean, I think it's been super fun and I love hanging out with you. And we're not in the same place. I used to hang out with Jesse every day. I loved it. So this kind of harkens us back to days of yore when we were a lot younger and able to just talk about nerdy gaming shit like all the time. Like we lived in the perfect like nerd crash pad where it was like you'd be hanging out in your room and Jesse would come in and be like, "Hey, I have an idea for something in our game. What do you think of this?" You know, and you would just talk about it for hours. It was fucking awesome. It's so cool. I loved it. So being able to just tap into that again is really what makes this special for me. So, all right.
Me too, buddy. Me too.
All right. And until next time, get out there and play some fucking role playing games and some shit.
Yeah, play some fucking games.
Yeah. Do a science fiction setting and create a weird alien race that of insect bird creatures that taste like chicken.
An amorphous beetle bird.
Amorphous beetle birds. Teenage amorphous beetle birds. All right, good day.